Hey guys, welcome to Design Talks channel. I'm Vahan and today we're going to have a video about the UX trends of the upcoming year. Just before we start, I want to tell you two things. First, this video is really about UX or product design trends, not just about visual trends with all those 3D stuff and dark modes and blah blah blah. And second, I've been watching videos with sort of predictions for almost 5 years or something, and in fact, more than 80% of them didn't appear even close to becoming true. So what I'm gonna do is try to analyze what kind of products are becoming more popular, how the UX industry was changing for the past 2 or 3 years, and what product trends may continue to develop further in the upcoming year, and what new challenges we are going to have in the nearest future as designers. So let's get started. Now, as promised, let's talk more about the digital products. You know the fact that it's nearly impossible to create new products for mass market like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and this wasn't big news even 10 years ago. So people were trying to create more products focusing on solving some specific problems for narrow groups. And why not? It's also a way to build a billion-dollar company, and I would even say it's the only way to build a billion-dollar company. But still, in order to build as intuitive products as possible and make the learning curve extra short, a lot of entrepreneurs were getting into what I call an intuitiveness trap. They were thinking, if I do something really cool and original, no one will get it, so our learning curve may become way longer. And you know what's bad? For a lot of people, intuitiveness is equal to familiarity. I can buy myself a new pair of shoes and know how to put them on without learning, because I've done it 1,000 times in my life, right? I've learned how to tie shoelaces more than 20 years ago, and that's it. So as a result, we had a lot of, let's say, boring products which look exactly the same because their UX teams were almost busy with just copying other products' designs. But within the last 2 years, I started to feel a very important wind of change. Products like Hey, Superhuman, Liner, and Notion were released, and although not all of them are billion-dollar businesses yet, still they gain fame, and I think their success may become a trigger for quite a lot of products. Especially business software may become more like tools. Right now, people are more focused on creating those tool products for limited market consumers and are doing their best to create some original functions and interactions to increase their users' or clients' productivity. Instead of interacting with products using only buttons and inputs, the UX teams of the same Hey or Superhuman are suggesting more powerful ways like advanced hotkeys, command line inputs, or voice control. Instead of saying, well, users won't get those new ways of interacting, we have to be similar to the other products, those teams carefully research their potential users and creating some new level of interactions to push the productivity to the brand new level. And the fact that they didn't fail is a real game changer. Of course, the fact that your product is kind of specific increases the learning curve. But if your product's value is really high, people may invest time on learning it. So we shouldn't be afraid of the learning curve at all, right? Like with the same car, the overall value of the product is so high that people are ready to spend the time on learning how to drive, the traffic rules, etc. Or, okay, let's be kind of more green. The bike is even a better example because usually learning how to ride a bike is a way more painful process. So that's the biggest trend. People won't be afraid of being more specific, and products will become more like tools. And that's not even a trend, it's a logical evolution. When you are not creating products for, let's say, everyone, that brings more possibilities for experiments, but on the other hand, there is a risk of becoming some complicated and boring screwdriver tool. To avoid it, such companies were making their products more like games. And that's the second big trend. I won't call it a standard gamification with just adding some points, levels, trophies, and badges. That's not new. But what is new is when the product's overall experience is like a game. The product should have a goal which should be achievable, concrete, and rewarding, like in Box Zero in Superhuman and Hey. all this should bring some joy to the product's overall experience, which is an extra powerful differentiator. Just imagine all those old business tools created for managers, lawyers, doctors, yada yada. Most of them are boring, cluttered with old UI, and boom, suddenly your team appears with this brand new cool product which makes boring processes feel like a fun game, and that's fantastic. What does it mean for us designers? If you really want to catch that wave and become a designer which all those cool companies would like to headhunt, you should be able to create some original user experiences and be able to work on making the product more joyful. To do so, we all should work on some skills. So how can we make all these things happen? Design thinking may, of course, help us a lot. And one of the biggest design thinking constituencies that a lot of companies were ignoring was empathizing our users. You know, many companies used to perceive it as a good to have thing, but right now it's rapidly becoming must to have thing. The whole team should start focusing more on understanding your user and consumer groups, and that's not just about creating some focus groups of just 10 or 20 people. I had a pleasure, by the way, to speak with one of Hayes' co-founders, and he told me how they've been conducting one-on-one interviews with more than 300 people to understand their possible consumer needs and overall who those people are. Especially when you are about to create something original, you should understand this kind of, portion of creativity your users are able to digest.
All this mad in 45 minutes. I can hardly get my breath.
It's intake, Jesse, not output.
There will always be some fresh ideas that A, consumers may understand at a first glance, that may be highly intuitive for them, B, things you have to train them, and C, things they won't get anyway, so you should move forward with something more simple. So you have to figure it out very, very clearly and divide your ideas properly. Otherwise, the failure may be too painful. As a designer, we should learn how to better interview people and how to make design decisions using all those information we'll get. Also, the new product wave requires better ideation skills. Yeah, we should start more thinking and creating something original instead of just copying. And the best way to do it is to be your team creative coach. Best ideas are always generated by cross-functional teams, which of course include not only designers and product managers. Step-by-step workshop facilitation is becoming more and more crucial. So if you didn't learn how to run workshops and design sprints, 2021 is a great time to start. And if you did, you should continue developing that skill. So, if products are more becoming something people have to learn, we should think about a better onboarding process. I assume there may be some entrepreneurs who may think, people are going to invest time in learning my product anyway, right? So why should we have a good UX? But that's the straight road to failure, because the truth is that more original your product is, more carefully it has to be designed. Intuitiveness is not only about familiarity. In fact, to achieve it, your team should start diving deeper into human psychology and testing the ideas constantly. What concerns the onboarding experience of products overall, I think they're very, very far from being perfect. All those step-by-step flows and crappy first-time user experiences with tooltips we all escape, leave much to be desired. Creation of a really attractive and joyful learning and onboarding process, in my opinion, may become one of the biggest challenges for a lot of UX teams all over the globe. We can use the principle of game design or some machine learning technologies or both at the same time, I don't know, but what's for sure, if your product contains some features your users have to learn, that learning should be as fast and joyful as possible. And lastly, a word or two about remote work, which is also kind of trendy. Although I'm not the biggest fan of it, still most of companies are going to have a lot of remote positions in the upcoming year as well. So we have to continue developing our remote working skills, like it or not. But the good thing is that now you can land a job in some of your desired design-centric companies which are not located where you live. That's it, folks. In spite of all the pandemic and crisis, the tech world is evolving and we have to move fast in order to gain and maintain the skills which are relevant and highly demanded in this changing market. Especially if you want to use the chance and land some remote position in your dream company, be ready for extremely tough competition. So I wish you all the best. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. I'll see you in 2021. Bye-bye.